here we are now, and we're joined with the CEO from the Ministry of the Blue Economy and Civil Aviation, Ms. Kennedy Carrillo, and she'll be talking to us about her portfolio as well as what's been happening recently within the blue economy. So good morning, Ms. Carrillo. How are you doing?
First of all, good morning, and thank you so much for having me here. I will tell you, I'm a little bit disappointed because when I heard Tuesday tacos, I'm from Orange Rock.
Oh.
So I really was waiting for
Oh, you want real tacos?
So I just want to start off with that.
But you know, you kind of put your own self in a problem just now, you know,
Tell
because
me.
say you're from Orange Rock, so you're supposed to bring wheat tacos. You're not supposed to bring gifts.
I don't live in Orange Rock. That's why I miss
you
it
take the
even
excuse.
more.
I want you to try gravity. Oh, okay,
Like water,
I see.
she's fluid through.
Okay.
So good morning. How are you doing this morning, Ms.
I
Carrillo?
am doing fine, Brandon. Thank you so much. It's really a great pleasure for us when we have the opportunity to share with the Belizean people about the important work that is taking place at the Ministry of Blue Economy and Civil Aviation.
Right.
And we always have to remind it's blue economy and civil aviation.
I think people just hear blue economy and they just gravitate towards like, yep, blue
It's
economy.
new. It's a new ministry, right? Could you tell us a little more about it? What does the blue economy do? And
Sure. First of all, we know that blue economy is $1 trillion a year industry globally. And so we're speaking about the use of our blue spaces and resources in a manner that is responsible and sustainable. And I think that is where the interesting balance comes. I always say it's like they're teaching you a dance, but you have to dance by your head. Because you really have to know how do you find that balance between the demands of a country as it relates to our economic needs, and also the fact that we must preserve and conserve what I have always called our wealth untold. Because quite frankly, we don't even know how wealthy we are when we look out at that blue expanse. So it's our responsibility to make sure that we can use it like any smart investor wisely, but don't waste it.
right.
Definitely.
That's beautifully put, actually. I like that.
I-
So, CEO, if you can indulge us now, there's a new development strategy and policy plan. Could you expound on that for us?
Sure. It's a necessary document. We know that every ministry is guided by a policy. It's guided by legislation. And for the blue economy as something new in Belize, the ministry is new, not blue economy. And I must always remind people of that. Blue economy has existed, many components. I mean, sustainable fisheries, which is at the heart of, has been one of the best, recognized regionally, the fisheries department, for all the work that they have done, not only in managing fisheries, but looking at the work they have done with the marine protected areas and so forth. So blue economy has existed. The ministry is new because the ministry provides us with that opportunity to put in place the necessary policy and legislation to harness everything that is blue economy. And blue economy is not just fisheries and coastal zone as what is under the responsibility of our ministry. It also includes tourism.
Right.
Tourism is an important part. Where do the tourists go when they come to Belize? First and
Snorkel,
foremost,
reef.
where does everybody want to go? They want to take the deep plunge, right?
Right.
That is what they want. They want to go to the blue. So tourism is an important component of blue economy. When we speak about renewable energy, for example, that's public utilities. So we have to work with the Ministry of Public Utilities. When we speak about port, maritime transport, responsible maritime transport, that also falls under another ministry, but still a part of the blue economy policy. So really our role as a ministry is to coordinate the activities that are blue economy, ensuring that we are making sure that the impact that we will have will be one that is well coordinated.
Definitely. I want to go into something specific because you mentioned about fisheries. I know when people think about blue economy, fisheries is something that directly relate to it. As you know, we've had that conversation about fish fraud. We had Chef Jenny that was talking about what's been happening on that scene. People are saying, do we have to regulate better? Do we need stricter, policies? What's going on in that realm? Because we're thinking, is it just for Easter? Is this something happening a long time? But just because Chef Jenny's seed, we're getting highlighted on it. So what is being done when it comes to these sort of instances when it comes to fisheries?
Well, first of all, you know that we will always have situations where people are trying to beat the system.
Right.
And I think that the lesson that has to be learned from this is that the fishers themselves are recognizing how volatile it is because we are not taking care of what is ours. If you do not fish responsibly, there will be a day when you will not be able to find, a snapper or, whatever different lobster, conch, because we have not taken care of it. And so I think that is what they're starting to see. Because before you just drop a line and you pull up something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're recognizing that. And so it's very unfortunate that there are persons that would take advantage, of persons like Jenny or try to take advantage. Obviously, they can't take advantage of somebody like Jenny because she knows her fish very well. And the fisheries department obviously has the responsibility to regulate all of this. And so they have been in communication with Ms. Staines and also others to try to find out who are the culprits and where do we start.
Would we have the personnel, though, to actually venture out into our blue and actually regulate or enforce some of these? Do we have the personnel for
Are
that
people
from
checking,
north
like,
to
you
south?
know? Yeah.
The blue is a wide expanse, and we wish that we could have, like when you think about policemen, that you could have them all over the place, but they have to be at the right place at the right time. And so we work with a lot of intelligence. We work with the Coast Guard, for example. We share intelligence. I will tell you that the Fisheries Department has its enforcement officers all over,
Right.
from north to south. In addition to that, we also work with the managers of the marine protected areas. We have rangers out at those stations as well. And there's always need for more. I tell my good friend, and I always call him my twin, CEO Otters. I said, when are you going to give me a police for my park? I need a police for a park. And he says, well, we are short of, and I think to myself, you can't find one police. But in reality, when we think about it, and like I said, the expanse of it, we always need more. And so that is what we are working towards.
It's somewhat difficult, I could understand, because of the expanse of the sea. However, these persons have to come in to sell their catch. What if there's something in place at these markets per se to just enforce that, when you come in,
I can check your fish for you. I can see what happened.
maybe they might crazy
They try to be
grief out,
smart,
we don't know.
I mean, before you fill it and everything, you could actually see the fish. And so the thing is to have somebody be able to scope it out. Because let's go be very honest. Chef Jenny, she understands fish. She know what her rope on this. But a lot of I know for me, if I go to market, I need to take what they give me because I don't know better. And even the checkings that Ms. Chef Jenny was telling us about, naturally, you don't see it like that. And even if you are trying to see it like that, you don't necessarily might be accurate. So there definitely needs to be some kind of enforcement to allow for people to not get cheat from the system.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. We do have the enforcement officers going to visit places like the Conch Shell Bay. And as I said, it has to be continuous.
Right.
It has to be continuous. But more than that, we need to educate people.
Yes.
We need to educate the fishermen that this is your livelihood. It is your responsibility to take care of it. Because if you go sell this today, you think Jenny will buy from the same person again? Obviously not. So, that's what we need to do.
The insane thing about it. And I know the fisher folks from Sarteneja, they just go out sometimes and they just rake in everything. And
whatever
they don't know. We don't know where it is distributed to. And like Renata said, sometimes we might not be educated as to what exactly we're getting. We could get grouper and we get triggerfish in Chef Jenny's case. Speaking on the topic of that fraud there, we know that there was a recent bust of undersized lobster tails at the airport. Could you tell us about that?
Yes. Again, as I said, we work with a lot of intelligence with the enforcement officers. The Fisheries Department got a tip that somebody was going to try to get past, I don't know how many, I think it's like 200.
100 pounds, if I'm not mistaken, or something.
Yeah, something like that. Undersized, out of season, and without a license.
Yes.
So that's a triple whammy right there.
Yes,
And really, once again, like I said, it speaks about the important work that the Fisheries Department is doing. And we were able to coordinate with the Department of Civil Aviation that is right next to the airport. And so very quickly, we were able to get into the airport and really ensure that that was...
We've had sources tell us that there's a underground market for things like this. What is the Ministry of the Blue Economy and Civil Aviation doing in order to try to come to the bottom of this and try to stop it? Because I'm pretty sure this isn't the first incident.
Obviously, it requires a coordinated approach to it. It's not just the Fisheries Department. We have Customs, we have Baja, all of these entities are actually right there at the airport. And so it is important for us to be able to coordinate with them because I think people just were not aware that this was happening. And so that is why when it blows up, it seems like something so major. But quite frankly, maybe it had been happening for a while, and I still don't understand how it goes. Because I know when I go through an airport and you have to go through all of those checks and your luggage, so it still has me a little bit.
They had to know somebody or something along that way, and that's the thing that I think the leakage
somebody knows
like
somebody
that.
that knows somebody, and unfortunately, these are the things that we have to deal with. But I'm very happy that the Fisheries Department was able to act very quickly on it. And more than that, with the new legislation that we have in place, we can see that these people be penalized correctly. They're being penalized for what they do. Before, get a little slap on the hand and you go. But we're seeing something different now. And the department and the ministry takes this very seriously.
So I know when you say a slap on the wrist, has there been any recent amendments to the law to increase fines or sentences?
Oh, definitely. I think you all saw with the news with the 5 guys, I think it was from Shunush with the conch.
Right.
So that they ended up having to pay about 30,000, among all of them. And so that is just an example, because before that, they would have literally walked away with it. And we have to really think, like I said, and I will continue to say, because it is the responsibility of the Ministry of Blue Economy, we have to provide opportunities for livelihoods through the use of our blue spaces. But then we also have to ensure that people are doing it in a manner that is responsible and sustainable. It's like you're shooting yourself in your foot, because it's your job, it's your future, it's your children. You want your children to be fishers and they go out there and there's no lobster, no conch, no fish. I mean, it's your responsibility. And this is why we work very closely with the fishers community, because we recognize that their input in everything that we do as a ministry at the policy level and so forth, that whatever it is that their needs are, that we are responding to it, so that then we have that right to also come and say, but let's do it responsibly.
Yeah.
I have seen some incidents, CEO, where, especially since we're on the topic of lobster here, lobster season is yet to open. And I know that lobster fishing is something that's very dangerous because you have the crimes out there on the sea. Is there anything to protect lobster fishermen from actually going or for being protected? Because I know once you hit somebody trap, there's murders, everything that's happening out there, burning down of houses, everything like that. Is there anything in position as is to protect honest folks from doing their lobster fishing?
Yeah. Well, what we can do really is just to increase, the vigilance, increase the areas where we know that the fishers would be. We try to increase vigilance, surveillance, making sure that we have more presence, because, like I said, and I will continue to say, it's a wide expanse. But we know that with the protected areas, it kind of provides us those opportunities where we know we need to keep our eyes out. But in terms of piracy and all of that, that is a reality that we have to deal with, we have to contend with. And I will continue to say that we must increase, the enforcement efforts. We have done that, but now we're looking at other ways. Let's say, for example, with the blue bonds. One of the important targets has to do with expansion of marine protected areas. Okay, you want me to expand the marine protected areas? Then give me the money that I need to hire more enforcement officers, to get more vessels, to have the fuel that we need to be able to have our people out there.
Right. I was at the Lands Department yesterday, and I was looking at the map of protected areas, and I saw so many little offshore protected areas there. But like you rightfully said, you need the money. How has it been with the blue bond? No. What was the progress of that? That we know we've signed on, but
yes, actually, blue bonds has been one of the best things that has happened for our country. We know that with the blue bonds, we have seen our country be really relieved of $500 million of debt. And I think that a lot of people don't really understand the blue bonds and what exactly it means.
Right.
Because remember when the new government came into place, there was so much economic constraint. And it was all thinking, we owe all of this money, we owe all of this money.
To pay this
no,
back.
yeah, like, you have your loan and then all of a sudden somebody come and say, I'm paid for you, girl. Don't worry about nothing. And then you kind of, ease up a little bit more and you can focus on other important areas. So with the blue bonds, obviously the Ministry of Blue Economy has an important role to play because we are the ones that have the responsibility to ensure that we meet the commitment targets together with the Ministry of Sustainable Development. But the majority of these are under the Ministry of Blue Economy because it is a marine conservation commitments.
I think the blue bond also allows for us to make sure we're doing what we're supposed to be doing too as well. I feel like, no?
Listen to me, it's the best win-win situation because somebody come and say, I want to pay you for do exactly what you have been doing all along. Like literally.
You get money if you do the same thing, like if you do the thing we're supposed to do.
Yes.
So you just have to fall in line and make sure you dot your I's and cross your T's and
yes,
everything should be running
so
smoothly.
all of these commitments are a part of our work as a Ministry of Blue Economy. This is what we need to do if we will ensure that we have a successful blue economy. So
right.
literally what they're doing now is just providing us with the financial support that is needed. And very interestingly, the $500 million to be cleared from our super bonds, but the government now in return has signed a conservation agreement with TNC, whereby they have a responsibility to invest $200 million into marine conservation over the next 20 years.
Okay.
And so this is where the Conservation Trust Fund, or what is now known as the Belize Fund for a Sustainable Future, it comes into play, whereby this body will be responsible for the approval. Well, the board will be responsible for the approval of grants to different conservation partners, be it
Right.
NGO, private sector, government. And so every year the government has the responsibility to deposit $8 million for marine conservation. If that is not a win-win, then I don't know what is.
Very true. But they sign on to a lot of stuff, but it's good stuff too as well, and it's just a matter of now
If it was not good stuff, I wouldn't be doing it. Trust me.
And I just want you to know, people in the comments are saying how that you're such a good ambassador for the blue economy. Thank you for all the work you're doing, all of that. So letting you know the comments and the love as well from the people. But thank you so much, CEO, for making time to be here. I know there's a lot on the scene. For people that are wondering too as well, what's happening with the blue economy, we know that we're looking at a lot of legislation, trying to iron things out because we want investment too, but we also have to be mindful how we're getting these investment. We have to have check and balances. Some people come in and they can do anything because, like you mentioned, we want to be responsible and sustainable because we can't just use it up for right now and then what happened to the children?
Right.
What are they going to be using up for next time around?
Exactly.
So we just thank you for all the great work. Is there any final remarks you want to make to those out there?
Definitely. I want to say that the development of the blue economy policy and strategy has actually taken over a year because we wanted to ensure that it was consultative, that it was inclusive, and that it provided an opportunity for us to really assess what was on the ground and what needs to now be a part of this policy framework. And so we continue to invite all our partners. And I keep saying, blue economy, that's for everybody.
Yes, definitely. It affects all of us.
It's for all of us, so we have to get, ours as well from it.
Thank you, CEO Carrillo, for again being here, blessing us with this knowledge here. There's a question in the comment section, but I believe that's where we need to have a debate with that one there.
Oh,
That would be
Green and the blue, the green and the blue.
Yeah, that's
I
gonna
love
be a juicy
debates.
one.
I love debates, so we'll save it for the next.
All
visit.
right.
Oh, so
There we go.
you're
Hold
ready
you
for
to
it?
that.
Okay, we'll fall into that then.
Yeah,
Great.
I have thick skin too.
You have thick skin too?
All right.
Okay, then. So at least we know, guys, the debate is coming the next time around. We have CEO on with the debate, green and blue. What is going to be happening and what role and side are you taking on? And so with that, we go to our next commercial break.